and welcome to Korea Today, brought to you live from Seoul.
President Park Geun-hye proposes the Semaul movement mentality to work towards a second miracle of the Han River and bridge the gap and conflict between generations, regions, and the social stratum.
The political arena is swirled back into the online smear campaign scandal. We have the details coming up in the headlines.
And did you get the memo? File is here. We'll show it to you on in print.
The perfect job that pays you for doing nothing. If you're interested in what it is and other online stories, then please stay for hot clicks.
He recommends laughter as a great form of therapy for cancer patients. Dr. Kim Eui-shin, who has worked at a leading cancer treatment institution in the U.S., returns to Korea. The towering boxy apartment compounds once dominated the housing culture in Korea, but they're now evolving with the times. We look into the changing trends in Korea's apartments live on this Monday, October 21st, 2013.
From Arirang News, this is Korea Today.
And it is 7:01 a.m. on Korea Today. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for tuning in. Hope you had a great weekend. Today is National Police Day, which celebrates the founding of the National Police in 1945 after Korea was liberated from Japan's colonial rule. It's to thank and honor those who protect us and serve us, the people of this country.
That's right. Serving the public is what they do. And ahead of this special day, yesterday there was a special event held trying to find the police officer with the most interesting resume or background. And they included black belts, but not only just one black belt, but one officer held multiple black belts and degrees in martial arts, numbering a total of 43. There was also a sharpshooter, as well as a officer who had donated blood over 300 times.
Over 300 times.
Over 300 times. That's amazing. And also one officer held a number of certificates. We're talking in the hundreds. Some of them included mechanics as well as fixing boilers. So there was a lot of interesting people out there.
And the men and women in uniform are just so cool, right? And then there will be a large-scale commemorative event in downtown Seoul today where some 3,000 people will attend.
All right, so thank you to all the cops out there.
That's right, thank you. And we'll begin Korea Today on this Monday morning with a look at the day's headlines.
President Park Geun-hye has emphasized her will to spread what she calls a second Semaul movement. The movement was originally initiated by President Park's father, former President Park Chung-hee, in the 1970s and aimed at rectifying the nation's rural economy by educating people in remote areas to self-govern and promote cooperation within the local communities.
새마을 운동의 내용과 실천 방식을 시대에 맞게 변화시켜서 미래지향적인 시민의식 개혁운동으로 발전시켜 나가기를 기대합니다.
President Park said the movement had been widely praised by leaders from around the world, adding her administration plans to make this a strategically important business model in the global arena. Some skeptics, however, say the president is trying to succeed one of her father's legacies that has been viewed by some as a tool of dictatorship. The Defense Ministry is expected to announce its initial investigation results sometime this week on allegations that 4 of its officials were involved in swaying public opinion in last year's presidential election. This comes while the opposition party claims the military has helped the nation's spy agency to post negative comments about then opposition candidate Moon Jae-in, but insiders say the military will likely stick to its original stance.
Our unit has never given any orders like that, nor were we ordered to do so. If those claims are true, then I suspect it to be a personal act.
And ahead of today's parliamentary audit on the Seoul Central District Prosecutor's Office, opposition lawmakers claim they've obtained evidence that the National Intelligence Service spread some 55,000 online comments on social media platforms, including Twitter, in the run-up to last year's election. They say the messages either opposed or slandered then opposition candidates Moon Jae-in and An Cheol-soo. A bit of a good and bad news. Now, the number of couples in Korea who got married last year stood at 330,000, but here's the twist. 110,000 couples got divorced last year. The figures were released by the Supreme Court on Sunday. The number of divorces rose 0.7% from the previous year, and for the first time, couples who had been married for 20 years or longer got divorced more than those 4 or fewer years into marriage. The number of people who get divorced later in their lives has been on a steady rise since 2006. Experts say it's because of changing social and cultural norms, where Koreans are now viewing divorce as an option, whereas in the past it was viewed as a taboo. Korea has signed a currency swap deal with Malaysia. The deal is worth up to $4.7 billion, which means it will allow the two countries to exchange each other's currency of up to 5 trillion Korean won, or 15 billion Malaysian ringgit. In a joint statement released Sunday, the two nations said they hope to have more flexibility to use their own currencies instead of US dollars for settling bilateral trade and investment activities. The deal is valid for 3 years, but can be renewed upon agreement. Now, this is Korea's third currency swap pact sealed this month, following a $5.4 billion deal with the UAE and a $10 billion pact with Indonesia.
And happy Monday, everyone. How was your weekend? Well, if you were in Korea, I hope you had a moment to soak in the changing color of leaves this weekend. And if you did not, worry not. Our front pages have you covered. So let's go ahead and take a look at the front page of 동아일보 this morning. The front page image's title reads, "Watercolored in Autumn, Seorak Mountain Fall Foliage at their peak." And it reports the official peak for Seorak Mountain's fall foliage was last Wednesday, 2 days ahead of the average year. And plenty of tourists made their way there to enjoy the changing colors of the seasons. The caption also forecasts that we'll see clear fall weather all week this week with no sign of rain. A bit of good news there to start off your week. And our next daily also has a snapshot of the fall foliage. Right there it is, a splendid array of changing leaves along the Hanggae Ridge in Gangwon Province. And if you look closely, you can see a line of cars making their way around the mountain there. The caption reports that some 410,000 cars from Seoul alone made their way to the surrounding mountains, including Seorak Mountain we just saw earlier, causing some traffic to transpire Sunday evening as they made their way home. Meanwhile, the main headline above that image reads, "National Intelligence Service Twitter team also intervened in presidential race," reflecting the claim by Democratic Party lawmakers over the weekend, who announced at a Sunday press briefing that they found more than 55,000 tweets posted by members of NIS's psychological warfare team from the months of September through December last year, supporting then-candidate Park Geun-hye and slandering her rivals Moon Jae-in and Ahn Cheol-soo. The case continues to be a hot issue during the parliamentary audits, and rivals Saenuri Party lawmakers say the prosecution has only confirmed some 2,200 of those alleged 55,000 to be tweets actually posted by staff of the NIS. And relatedly, Chunhyang Shinmun's highlights an example of the content of some of those tweets in its headline. It reads, "NIS staff tweeted Moon Jae-in's master is Kim Jong-il." Other tweets called then Democratic Party presidential candidate Moon Jae-in a trumpeter and a spy for the North Korean government. Another pointed to Moon's so-called eyes of a surprised rabbit against Park Geun-hye's friendly smile, just to give you a taste there. Meanwhile, over at Chunhyang Ilbo, a great turnout at a Sunday charity market hosted by the Chunhyang Media Network. The Wiyaja flea market took place in 4 different cities, Seoul, Busan, Daejeon, and Jeonju. This one, as you can see, is the one in Seoul at Gwanghwamun Square, judging by the palace in the background there. Altogether, the paper says the charity event raised some $108,000, which will go toward assisting children from low-income families. And finally, let's take a look at the front page story on Korea Economic Daily. Its headline reads, "It's like having a large hospital in every remote mountain village." Now, the story highlights a small county of Chunhyang, where some 18,000 people call home, out of whom some 31% are senior citizens, the second largest proportion in the country. And because it's a mountain village far from the city, it served as an experimenting ground of a new medical care system for the past 5 years, in which doctors prescribe medication and give medical advice remotely with the help of special equipments and nurses. Now, 61-year-old Park Jae-yong, a pepper farmer and a diabetes patient, says he likes it because he can get the same medical attention without the 2.5-hour bus ride to see the nearest doctor. Instead, now he can take a 3-minute walk to the nearest health clinic for a 10-minute doctor visit. Virtual visit, that is. And it seems he's not the only one. The inserted chart shows the growing number of such remote doctor visits at Chunhyang County over the years from 2009 to 2012. And the article reports that 81% of the users said they were very happy with the service. But because it's still a pilot project, those running it are facing logistical problems, and expanding the remote medical examination project is an issue the parliament is grappling with, the paper says, with a medical law revision that would officially allow such services expected to be introduced by the end of this year. And with that, we'll wrap your look at what's in print on this Monday. Next up are your closing numbers from Friday's market action.
The picture-perfect weather conditions continue here in Korea. Is there a way I can hang on to autumn?
Well, you can make the most out of it and go out, but the problem is that you're going to have to carry a jacket with you. This morning, my temperature, my thermometer showed the temperature being at about 9 degrees, so it's rather chilly.
Pretty chilly.
We're going to look at what your morning temperatures are and the day's weather with Idami. Good morning.
Good morning, Dami.
It's looking beautiful.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. Oh, thank you so much. I'm reporting live from Haneul Park, which is located in Sangam of Seoul. This morning, we're starting off with partly cloudy skies, but it looks like the rest of the nation will also be seeing clear conditions throughout the day. However, there is an exception over in the East Coast areas. Some regions will be expecting sporadic showers, so do keep that in mind. Now, here in Seoul, it looks like the morning temps or the morning lows, we're starting off with 12 degrees Celsius, and later our highs are going to rise quite a bit, making a huge gap between our highs and lows, so please take care of your health by dressing accordingly. Now, all in all, it looks like we'll have nice autumn weather in the first half of this week, but in the latter half, our lows are going to dip down into the single digits. Let's now get a check on today's weather. Seoul, Daejeon, and Daegu will rise to 22, Gangneung the coolest at 17, Busan at 22, Gwangju at 23, and Jeju at 21 degrees. That's all I have for the weather forecast. I'll be back in the latter half.
And still ahead on Korea Today, he created a new cancer prognosis method using radioisotopes for the first time in the world. Dr. Edmund Kim returns to Korea after treating many at a leading cancer institute in the U.S. We catch up with him to see what secret he offers to his patients.
The two fictional women from the East and the West who embody beauty and grace, Lady Chunhyang and Giselle, are coming to life with the help of two national dance companies here in Korea. And our reporter Im Yoon-hee was at both of the performances. So how beautiful were the ladies?
Absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, the National Theater of Korea is home to the National Dance Company of Korea, and they've recently invited the Korean National Ballet to perform with them on the same stage. It's been over 40 years since they've performed together, but the two pieces they're performing are Chunhyang and Giselle, which are major pieces, so let's take a look.
An empty stage is full of possibilities, including a meeting of the East and West. Two of Korea's most prominent dance groups have come together on a single stage to create a unique week-long series of performances. They feature the traditional dances of the National Dance Company of Korea's Chunhyang and the Korean National Ballet's Parisian-style performance of Giselle.
People visiting Korea or even people from outside of Seoul have a limited amount of time, so they might not be able to see many different performances. We want people to have the opportunity to see various types of performances, so we change our program every day from Chunhyang to Giselle. That way people can see both ballet and traditional Korean dance. They don't have to watch just one type of performance. And as this program grows, you'll be able to see, for example, traditional Korean dance, ballet, changguk, and opera, all in just 4 days.
Chunhyang was chosen to represent traditional Korean dance and has been one of the repertory pieces of the National Dance Company of Korea for over 10 years. A love story dating back to the Joseon dynasty, Chunhyang illustrates the struggles of a couple in love through the graceful moves of the dancers.
In Korean dance, there's a certain feeling and emotion that's involved. The shape of the dancer is covered by the costume, so it's important that the beauty of the dancer is less physical and more spiritual. I like to emphasize this inner emotional beauty in Chunhyang.
Recreated with the new cast, Chunhyang's retained its ability to use dance to illustrate the emotions and situations of the characters. And since its premiere in 2002, it's been positively received on international stages for its ability to convey Korean traditions and artistic excellence to a foreign audience. The Chunhyang performance at the National Theatre of Korea has been popular with both those familiar with the story as well as those new to the Korean culture.
Especially after seeing this first act, I'm really convinced it's worth coming again.
I'm very happy to have the opportunity to see both Korean and West-style performances. I really enjoyed today's performance, and I'm glad I already bought a ticket for tomorrow's.
And with the curtain signaling the end of Chunhyang, the stage members must start right away to prepare for the next performance. Sharing a stage means readjusting lights and taking out old props to store while bringing in the new. A difficult process that usually takes a few days is now rushed into a few hours.
As soon as Chunhyang ends, we clear the stage for Giselle, which takes about 3 hours. The National Theatre of Korea is not a multi-purpose theater, so it takes more work than normal, and it's really difficult for the staff. But we understand this is special for the audience, so we don't mind doing the work.
Even the flooring is changed, piece by piece, so that each house can be brought in, along with the rocks and a bridge. And after the complete transformation is made, the stage awaits the opening act of the two-part Giselle. All this work is needed to start the bright and cheery Act 1 of the two-part Giselle, which is starkly contrasted from Act 2.
Act 2 is fun to watch because the set is so dark, so the dancers who are supposed to be ghosts look realistic because of the lighting and the way the stage is set up. We make it so that you can't really see their faces. That way, the entire scene is very dark and ominous.
The Korean National Ballet's recreation of Giselle includes the original choreography by the Paris Opera Ballet, which is a first here in Korea. The performance was well received as the opening to their 2011 season repertoire, and it has since become one of their most praised works. With two very popular performances packaged into one stage, the program has been quite the success. As ticket sales increase, so does the revenue, allowing for more future productions, meaning more opportunities for the two dance groups.
Even though changing the stage daily is really difficult, it provides many opportunities for us dancers, so I'm grateful. Through this kind of program, we can see other performances and learn from other dancers. But the most important thing is that the audience gets like a buffet-like experience with the opportunity to see various types of performances.
With performances representing two very different corners of the world, the National Theatre of Korea has become Korea's landmark stage for unity and shared cultures with the release of this first ever cross-organization production.
Pretty interesting, right? I mean, one of the directors did mention that it takes 3 hours to change the whole stage, but other than that, I mean, what is the significance of having the performances like this back to back?
You know, it's first of all, it's very difficult for them to switch back and forth like that. I know the audience just sits there and expects the performance, but switching back and forth like that, you have to, the video mentioned the props have to be changed out, but also the National Theatre of Korea is not a multi-purpose theater, so storing the props becomes a big challenge. And with the Chunhyang performance, I don't know, you guys couldn't see, but there's a little body of water in the front of the stage, and they can't really remove that. For the Giselle dancers, they were worried about falling into that, especially during Act 2 because the scene is so dark. So, you know, everyone, the dancers and staff alike, just have to be a little bit more diligent when switching back and forth. But talking to everyone there, it's pretty unanimous that the importance is with the audience and giving the audience this unique experience to kind of see two very different performances in one theater.
Yeah, that's right. You can get to enjoy ballet as well as some traditional dance. So what's in it for the audience apart from that?
So the purpose of this program is to really encourage people to step out of their comfort zone. So if you're usually a ballet goer, you can try a traditional Korean performance with little commitment. They also throw in a 30% discount if you buy both tickets at the same time.
It's a package deal.
That doesn't hurt, but there are 2 performances of Giselle left and 1 of Chunhyang left. You can find the information online as well as ticket information and the schedule for the performances. And it's, you know, the Korean National Ballet and the National Dance Theatre of Korea, the National Dance Theatre of Korea are both very big pillars of Korea's dance culture. So both these performances are big pieces, and it's a really neat, unique opportunity to check out both.
Right, well, it sounds like that package deal is a really good deal for people who want to enjoy a lot of these performances. And also, thank you very much for letting us know some of the finer technical aspects that viewers might have never known had they just gone and saw the performance. All right, thank you very much, Jeannie.
My pleasure.
And still ahead on Korea Today, there are many people that live in cities here in Korea, and with the ever so growing population density in the cities, apartments have become a huge commodity here. Now, they have transformed from being simple residential areas to a means of investment. We visit several apartment complexes to gauge the winds of evolution found in these buildings, and some of these look very, very nice.
Now we're going to meet a doctor who has spent his entire life studying cancer and treating cancer patients in the U.S. He is now back in his motherland. His name is Dr. Kim Eui-shin, and he has renewed interest in laughter therapy as well as traditional medicine.
Pioneering over 30 years of cancer research in one of the biggest and the most well-known cancer institutions in the U.S., Dr. Kim has come back to Korea, and he is here to share his experience and also do his part in cancer research here in Korea. We'll take a look.
Professor Kim has treated many patients at one of the top cancer treatment institutions, the MD Anderson Cancer Center in Texas. He enjoyed drawing as a little boy, so he used his drawing talents to create a new cancer prognosis method using radioisotopes. With this, he has received great recognition in the field of nuclear medicine and molecular imaging. After spending 44 years in the U.S., he has returned to Korea. Currently, he is an endowed chair at Kyung University School of Medicine and is providing guidance to younger medical professionals at the Cancer Center there.
I've lived in the United States for 44 years. Therefore, the reason I came to this place is that when I getting older and older, I have to think about what kind of life I have to take in my last maybe 10, 20 years. Therefore, I decided to come to Korea to teach my sort of students and also help some needed people so that they can do much better than what I have achieved.
These days, what Professor Kim is interested in the most is a patient's immune system. Laughter therapy is used as a supplementary treatment to strengthen a patient's immune system. He recommends cancer patients to undergo a combination of Western and traditional Korean medical treatments.
Oriental drugs, acupunctures, for example, generally stimulate and increase the immune system. So all patients should have some benefit. But again, so we have to find out which patient seems to have a better response or more benefit. Then we can select a beneficial group versus others for the cost-effective management. That's the whole reason I'm here, and also that will contribute a lot for the not only cancer patient but also all patients with chronic diseases.
In 1991, Dr. Kim was picked as the best doctor of the year by internal medicine doctors in the U.S. He built a successful career as a doctor and scholar, publishing over 350 medical journals and 15 textbooks in the cutting-edge field of nuclear medicine and molecular imaging.
When we were raised, we were relatively poor in everything, so we have a big dream to achieve something my parents or my friend didn't have. So that certainly stimulates to work hard. You have to have a certain painful experience. So you have to industrious. You have to work hard to achieve something by yourself. That's one thing. And second, you have to have a certain big dream or curiosity. That is most important things to make a successful life.
Professor Kim says he has fulfilled all his dreams as a medical doctor. As a successful career doctor, he emphasized that doctors need to have proper values in life ahead of other qualities.
A good doctor is to treat the patient as his or her own sort of a family member that require compassion for loving or caring people. Nowadays, many parents are trying to push their children to go to medical school to be a doctor, but they have to seriously consider that the individual personality and also a commitment to be a passionate person is the only way to become successful physician.
Although he is over the age of 70, Professor Kim still actively works as a medical doctor. Even now, he is always grateful and continues to pursue new things.
I thought that the most valuable thing a human being can do is to help others, particularly needed people. So I like to teach students and also help them in their professional career as well as their life. So that's my last challenge in my life.
Good morning, I'm Chun Sung-cho and welcome to Hot Clicks. Today we start with a cute video that has not just dogs in it, but a baby as well. It can't get any cuter than this combination, don't you think? Well, let's take a look. This moment was captured on a video in what looks like a home in China. A mother cheers for her child as the baby starts to crawl, and right behind the baby are two huskies. Both dogs are much larger than the baby, but they start to imitate the baby's crow. Maybe they just want to give their little buddy some support. Hopefully, we'll see another video in the near future of those three musketeers running around. Professor Seo Kyung-duk has done it again. Korean online users are excited to find out that an exclusive billboard advertising Korea in Times Square, New York. And this is the result of a year-long project by Professor Seo Kyung-duk, who is a famous PR expert for Korea. And the billboard will feature ads that will shine some light on Korean history and cultural contents, such as Dokdo Island, bibimbap, makgeolli, and Arirang. And Professor Seo already has a few prime locations in mind, and if things go well as planned, the billboard will be up as early as next March 1st, which is a special day for Korea, Korea's Independence Movement Day. And moreover, it's going to be the world's first ever national advertisement billboard in Times Square, and the world's premier location for advertisements. So a lot of expectations on that. And next up to another heartwarming story. A black box video showing a recent truck accident is being praised as video of the year by many online users. And here you can see several men struggling to hold up an overturned truck. And it was found out later that the truck driver was stuck between the door and the truck at the time, and these men struggling to help the truck driver are just regular people who stopped their cars when they witnessed the accident. And to prevent any more additional accidents, this gentleman starts to signal traffic on the freeway, and he also tries to stop a large construction vehicle asking for a mechanical jack. More than 10 people continue to hold up the truck until 119 rescue and paramedics arrive. Someone captioned this video, Korea's Superman, and now seeing it in person, I'm sure you can understand why. Recently, the search phrase Korean folk village hobo job was all over major Korean portal sites and has been quickly spreading to other social media platforms. The Korean folk village is a tourist attraction in the city of Yongin, where the customs and lifestyles of the past generations have been carefully preserved. And there are many part-time jobs to act out various characters such as aristocrats, merchants, police, and so on. So with these characters roaming around the village, tourists really get to experience what it was like during Joseon Dynasty back then. Now, what actually drew the attention online was a recent post showing the daily activities of the hobo character. Not only do these actors seem to be completely immersed in their roles, but they're also enjoying themselves. They sleep whenever and wherever they want. If it's too hot, they find shade to lie down in and do nothing. And they keep whatever money they make from begging, like real beggars. People immediately started to phone in to apply for this dream job, part-time job. But unfortunately, due to the upcoming cold winter weather, there are no open positions for the time being. And now, finally, our last story of the day. A mail bus or town shuttle bus can take you along a narrow winding alleyway that regular buses are not able to thanks to their small size. And among them, the number 9 town shuttle bus of Jongno District in Seoul is popular in the blogosphere. This number 9 shuttle's route starts at the Ogin apartment complex right below Inwang Mountain and passes through Seoul's oldest neighborhood full of individuality and charm like Dongin Market, Gyeongbok Palace, Sejong Center City, and City Hall, and Namdaemun Market. And on this bus, you can see the Daeo bookstore in Nuhadong, preserved exactly the way it was back in the 50s. And Chinese restaurant Yeonghwaru that looks like a set from an old movie. The 1940s residence of the late beloved poet Yoon Dong-ju, and the museum of the late Bang No-soo, the father of Korean fine art. And these places have remained very special for Jongno District's residents for several years. And the number 9 bus is becoming increasingly popular, being dubbed as the unofficial town tour bus.
I have a bit of a confession to make. I sometimes hop onto these buses with no particular reason, just to be lost in thoughts. And it looks like this number 9 bus is a perfect bus for me.
Very inexpensive tour.
You knew this all along and you didn't share that with us?
I'm not proud of it. But.
Yes, you must have seen it, but then it takes you to some of the best attractions in Seoul, but all the places that I just mentioned, they are all parts of West Side Village or Seocheon of the Gyeongbok Palace. And this area really well preserves the typical old Seoul's, winding, complicated back alleyways and traditional hanoks. And that's why for so many years, these alleys have been a very favorite place for many tourists who love walking tours.
Mm-hmm. And like we saw, it has a lot of museums as well as some well-known restaurants as well, I noticed, right?
Yes. And places like that, there's a lot of fun in discovering hidden attractions and hidden gems of Seocheon, so it's becoming increasingly popular. And recently, not only that, recently young artists who made Gangnam Garosu길 famous have started to settle in Seocheon due to skyrocketing real estate and rental prices.
Okay, so these buses have that advantage because they're smaller in size to get into these little alleys. You get to see a lot, but I understand that Maur buses, they don't just run in that area, but there's like number 9 Maur buses I've seen in other areas. So this is the number 9 bus that pertains to just this area, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. You have to remember that other cities and districts have their own number 9 Maur bus. So if you want to take a look at those places mentioned today, then you have to take the number 9 Maur bus of Jongno District in Seoul, not any other places. So please don't get confused. And before I go, here's one last video for you guys. It's a video of a flash mob performance of Arirang song taken at the largest shopping mall in Asuncion, the capital city of Paraguay. So enjoy the video and I'll see you next Monday.
About that song that makes you emotional.
Right. Never fails to touch your heart.
And you never get tired of it.
No.
All right, time now to go back to our Idami, who joins us from a unique festival. Right?
That's right. It's at the Sky Park. And if you've ever been on the Gangbyeon Expressway or the Olympic Expressway near the Sangam-dong area, then it's the 2 mounds, and she's right on top of it. So we'll get a look at that. Tommy?
Back to you.
I'm back reporting live from Haneul Park in the World Cup Park, where the 12th Seoul Eulalia Festival will be taking place. Now, with the beautiful autumn weather these days, I'm pretty sure many of you, including me, want to hop on the next plane or the next train to take a trip of some kind. This is exactly why I wanted to introduce you to this park, because the atmosphere and the scenery here is simply beautiful, and what's great is that it's all here in Seoul. Now, this is an ecological park, so in order to preserve and, kind of protect the wildlife, late at night, these areas are restricted. But during the days of the festival, they will be opening its doors until 10 p.m. And what's beautiful about coming here at night is that the grounds are lit up with glowing lights. So if we take a closer look around, just an interesting fact about Eulalias is that Korea is a nation that plants much rice. So when you refer to crafts work using grass, it's usually using rice straw. Now, there is one place that is an exception, which is Jeju Island, because rice straws are very rare in Jeju because only 2% of the land can be cultivated. So in Jeju, it's said that they use eulalias instead of rice straws because they're strong and tough. So here in Korea, we call eulalias okse, derived from the word okseda, which means tough or rough. And they also say that they made pockets for the henya or for female divers in Jeju with eulalias. Now, this whole eulalia festival will be taking place until this Sunday. When you come here, not only is there a beautiful view, but also lots of hands-on experience programs such as craft making, face painting, and you can even check out a musical performance. Well, this is your look at Hanul Park. I'm Idami, Korea Today.
And a good Monday morning to you all as we kick things off with the 2013 KBO postseason. Now on Saturday, the Doosan Bears were able to beat the LG Twins in a thriller of a game 5-4, which meant they were one win away from advancing to the Korea series against the Samsung Lions. Well, with that said, check out the highlights from game 4. Now going into the game here, starting pitchers in the game, Yoo Hee-kwan for the Doosan Bears, Woo Kyu-min for the LG Twins. We're going to go over to the second inning of the game here. Choi Jae-hoon grounds one to first, but misplayed by the first baseman Kim Young-hee, and Lee Won-suk scores as the Doosan Bears take a 1-0 lead. Stays that well into the seventh inning. Park Yong-taek RBI double to left field as Lee Dae-hyung scores the tying run 1-1. Bottom of the inning, men on second and third. Lee Jong-wook sends one to right field. This one, a sac fly, makes it 2-1 Doosan Bears. Gonna shift over to the eighth inning, Choi Jun-suk, and there it goes, deep to right field. Back, Lee Jin-young leaps, and it's gone. A pinch hit solo shot makes it 3-1. Next batter, O.J. Lee at bat is gonna drill this one to deep center field. It's gonna hit the fence, and Park Yong-taek kicks it away, rounding the bases. O.J. Lee, and the play at the plate, he is safe, and that's ruled a triple and an error. Next up, O.J.1. This one is a triple to right field. Next play, here is Min Byung-hun with a single to left field, and it's now 5-1 Doosan Bears. Shifting over to the top of the ninth inning, two-man out, Moon Sun-jae swung on, and this one is popped up in foul territory. Does he have room? Yes, he does. Ball game over. The Doosan Bears advance to the Korea series, and up next are the Samsung Lions. And now moving on to some Sunday's K-League Classic action. We had two matches take place as Ulsan Hyundai Tigers were able to pull away with a 2-0 win over FC Seoul, thanks to goals from Rafinha and Kim Shin-wook, with the Daejeon Citizens getting the upset win over Jeju United 1-0, thanks to the lone goal from Hwang Do-yeon. Now with that, we're going to shift over to Sunday's KBL action. The Changwon LG Sakers beat the Seoul Samsung Thunders 88-73, with the KT Sonic Boom and Cheonju KCC Aegis playing a tight game, with KT winning it 92-91. So with that said, let's take a look at the Anyang KGC team taking on the Goyang Orions. Now, of course, we go over to the first quarter, a low-score game as the Orions still take a 14-9 lead before the first half ends with the Orions taking a 27-21 lead. Now, both teams try to step it up in the second half as KGC rallies back to tie it up 42-42 going into the fourth quarter. Unfortunately for KGC, a big fourth quarter from Choi Jin-soo helps the Orions take this game 60-48 as KGC remains winless so far this season. And moving on with the 2013 National Sports Festival taking place in Incheon, Marine boy Park Tae-hwan was able to win his second gold medal after finishing first in the men's 400-meter relay. Now on Saturday, the Olympia won the gold medal in the 400-meter men's individual freestyle. Meanwhile, Son Yeon-jae absolutely dominated the rhythmic gymnastics event, winning the gold medal with ease. All right, finishing things off with the 2013 Korea Open Golf Championship, which took place for 4 days at the Ujang Hills in Cheonan. It was a close finish till the end as Kang Sung-woo takes this year's trophy after shooting a 69 on the final round to finish first at 4 under. Meanwhile, the biggest name on the course was Rory McIlroy, who had a monster fourth round but missed out on the win, one stroke behind Kang Sung-woo at 3 under par overall. And so with that said, that's going to wrap it up for me. This has been SJ. Have a great rest of the day. And I now leave you with some action-packed highlights from the playoff series between the Doosan Bears and the LG Twins.
감고 가슴을 열어 꿈꾸던 바램 trust me 거짓없이 진실만을 말해 똑바로 걸어 한 번은 저런 누구나 다 실수하기 마련 실패 딛고 일어나 보렴 쓰린 상처
Statistics show that more than half of Koreans live in apartments, and that's obviously because there are big cities and less space. And these apartments have grown in size as well as value and luxuriousness. Audrey Young joins us with her special report. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, guys. Recent apartment trends focus on community facilities. Korean apartments are constantly changing and evolving, and so is the housing culture. So let's take a closer look. This is a model house of an apartment planned to be built in the Gwanghwamun area of Seoul. They are promoting different floor plans that cater to the clients with unique interior designs.
So I'm here today to check out the latest trends of housing. Could you show me around?
Okay, let's go.
You always manage to pull that off.
I heard there was a popular selling point, so I went to see for myself.
Here, the LED lighting. So we prepare the LED lighting outside.
Yes.
And we also have the water supply system.
Oh, so the water supply is built in?
Yeah, inside.
Inside here?
Yeah, bottom here. So we can supply the water to the outside.
Wow. In apartments larger than 1,250 square feet, they installed a space where people can grow plants and vegetables indoors. This apartment has a total of 494 units, but offers 11 different unit sizes. Smaller units are less than 880 square feet, and they come with many space-saving ideas.
Step aside, pull the bed down, and you're ready to sleep.
How attractive are these new ideas to people?
I was searching for a small apartment, and this unit seemed comfortable with a lot of shelves and space-saving features. I've decided to sign the contract.
Wow, just like that.
She has the money.
Yes.
Recently, due to fierce competition, developers are marketing an array of unique ideas. Space-saving ideas like a toilet paper rack with storage space, a shoe closet designed to store bicycles, customized area for pets, and hidden drying racks, and much more. Apartments became popular during the late 1960s with industrialization and urbanization because it was a way to maximize the use of limited land in the country.
That's the model house.
Seoul's oldest apartment is the Chunhyang apartment built in the 1930s. Full-fledged apartment construction began in the 1970s, and this is also when complexes with over 1,000 units started being built. The Bampo Chugong Ildanji apartment was the first large-scale complex, and here you can still spot old-fashioned exposed heaters and pipes. Also, you find a 70s-style kitchen with a maid room. During rapid urbanization, many women came to the city for work, but because of limited positions, many worked as maids for middle-class households. In the 1980s, to improve the housing distribution rate, large-scale development projects were launched. During the 90s, real estate development was still centered on apartments, but they came with more diverse layouts.
Korean apartments are square. There are no corridors. In a way, the living room functions as the corridor and unites the rooms. In traditional Korean hanoks, the entire house faces the front yard, and Korean apartments are the same.
In 2000, luxury high-rises started offering different unit plans. But after the Asian financial crisis in 1997, the problem of unsold apartments began to emerge. After the year 2000, due to the rapid increase in high-rise residence and commercial buildings, developers started to focus on luxury apartments to solve the issue of unsold units. Recent luxury apartments, including high-rise residential and commercial buildings, have community facilities such as guest rooms. And since the 1970s, apartments have transformed to fit the needs of the middle class who look for a pleasant atmosphere, quality education, and culture. Some worry that basic necessities for all that the city should provide, such as parks and rest areas, are now being built by developers, which only residents of these complexes can benefit from. But as long as the city lags behind in providing these quality public facilities, the trend of developers building exclusive residential facilities will continue.
It's convenient because it's right below my apartment. I can stop by on my way home after work for a book and go to the fitness center for a workout.
It's a high-rise residential and commercial complex, so I enjoy the convenience of using the fitness center and screen golf facility as well as other accommodations.
The ever-changing nature of apartment complexes. What will it feature next?
Apartments should be able to reveal different individual lifestyles. For example, like open balconies. Finding ways to evolve this form of housing is the task for Korea's future apartments.
Wow, you see the evolution of apartments there, and if you go to some of the newer apartments, they're so efficient with space that even though the square footage or the actual area isn't that big, it looks huge and it feels very spacious. So I've noticed that there's an increase in buyers who are looking for smaller apartments, maybe under the size of 120 square meters or so.
Well, contrary to the past, in the past, people were buying apartments for investment purposes. And nowadays, we're seeing people buying it for themselves. And so, of course, with the increase of single-family households and the nuclear family units, there's obviously an increase of small to mid-size apartments that are in demand. And like what you said, space-saving, space-efficient facilities is what they're looking for. And of course, the ones that are hidden all around the apartment is very attractive as well.
The little space for the pets was really cute, right?
And the toilet paper rack.
And I was really impressed with the guest rooms too. These are pretty nice rooms, and so you don't have to worry about your visiting in-laws, right? And a sizable library too. So pretty interesting facilities here and there, right?
Yeah, well, cultural community facilities is definitely the marketing and selling point of developers. We have things like, it wasn't featured in the video, but there are other things like the thermal spring water pool, the camping grounds and vegetable gardens, walking trails and so forth. In Incheon, apparently, there are plans for an apartment complex to build a community plaza that's said to be 3 times the size of a football field.
Wow, that's big.
That's big. So they're very big on this community facility idea right now.
And not only those community and educational facilities geared towards children must be very important and popular too.
Exactly. I'm sure parents will be looking into that for their kids. Apparently, Doksan-dong, there's an apartment complex that's going to be marketed in November, and they have plans to build an elementary school. And also last year, the government has also allowed and started to permit childcare centres to start being built within apartment complexes too.
So within the compound.
Right.
Wow, interesting.
Right, and the government is also pushing to have like where the apartments where the entire complexes go under renovation and remodeling as well. But I'm not sure if that bill has passed, but
basically, that's for the older. That's for the older apartments. Those that are more than 15 years old. Those are the ones that are now getting permitted to remodel, to go through remodeling.
We'll see where all those little neat technologies and the community workshops will all come together in that compound. Hopefully, for the residents. Yes.
So we'll see all the neat little tricks hidden in the apartments, maybe in the newer, in the older apartments now.
I think mine's reaching 15 years old.
In the meantime, I'm going to look for that apartment with the pet space. Although I don't have a pet, I want that space. I need 2 dogs. All right, thank you, Audrey, for that story.
Thank you.
Very interesting. interesting. All right, that brings us to the end of this edition of Korea Today.
All right, have a wonderful Monday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 7 a.m.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.